There's a trap that almost no one talks about. It doesn't look like a trap. There are no bars, no locks, no guards keeping you in. In fact, you can walk out of it anytime you want, yet most people never do. This prison is invisible. It's built out of years of routines, small compromises, unspoken fears, and beliefs you never questioned because they were handed to you before you even knew who you were. And the most dangerous thing about it, you don't even realize you're inside. Day after day, people wake up, follow the same pattern, and tell themselves that this is simply how life is. They convince themselves that they have no choice, that this is the hand they were dealt, that the limits they see around them are set in stone. But deep down in the quiet moments when no one else is watching, there's a whisper, a faint, restless voice inside that refuses to die. It says, you were meant for more. And yet that voice is easy to ignore. The world gives you 1,000 distractions to drown it out. Scrolling on your phone, watching other people live their lives, burying yourself in work that doesn't inspire you, filling your days with tasks that keep you busy but never fulfilled. Little by little, you lose touch with that inner fire. You start to forget what it even feels like to want something so badly that you're willing to do anything to get it. But here's the truth you've been avoiding. The life you're living right now is not the life you truly want. You've known it for a long time. You felt the discomfort, the restlessness, the heaviness in your chest when you think about your future. You've had those moments where you catch yourself imagining a different reality, a reality where you wake up excited, where you control your own time, where your choices are driven by passion instead of fear. But then almost instantly you pull yourself back. You tell yourself it's not realistic. You tell yourself you have responsibilities, that it's too late, that people like you don't get to live like that. The truth is, it's not that you can't change. It's that you've trained yourself not to. You've accepted the lie that life happens to you instead of through you. You've let other people's opinions become the bars of your cage. You've allowed fear to act as your warden, keeping you exactly where you are because it's safe here. But safe is just another word for stuck. And here's the part that should scare you. Time doesn't stop while you hesitate. Every day you stay where you are, the gap between the life you have and the life you want grows wider. One day, you're going to wake up and realize that you ran out of summer days, that all those dreams you put off for the right moment never happened, that the potential you once had has faded, not because you didn't have the ability, but because you didn't have the courage. This is the invisible prison that holds 99% of people back. They never see the chains because they're made of comfort, habit, and fear. And because it doesn't hurt enough in the moment, they stay. They tolerate it. They convince themselves that they're fine. But fine is the enemy of great. Fine is what keeps people from pushing for more. Fine is what you settle for when you're too scared to face the truth that deep down, you've been playing small. But there's another truth, one that changes everything. The key to the door is already in your hands. No one is going to hand it to you. No one is going to come and unlock it for you. No one is going to give you permission to step into the life you've always wanted. You already have that permission. You've had it from the moment you started breathing. The question is not whether you're capable. The question is whether you're willing. Are you willing to tear down the walls you've built around yourself? Are you willing to silence the lies you've been told and the lies you've told yourself? Are you willing to trade the comfort of good enough for the discomfort of growth? Because here's what most people never understand until it's too late. The cost of staying in the prison is far greater than the cost of breaking free. Staying where you are will cost you your dreams, your passion, your joy, and ultimately your life. Breaking free will cost you your excuses, your fear, and the illusion of safety you've been clinging to. And if you can summon the courage to take that step, to break those invisible chains, you'll discover something powerful. You'll realize that the prison was never locked. You'll realize that the life you thought was out of reach was always waiting for you to claim it. The clock is ticking, the walls are closing in, and the question remains, will you keep pacing the same cell, convincing yourself it's too risky to leave? Or will you finally walk through the open door and take control of your life? Fear, it's the shadow that follows you everywhere, the voice that whispers in the back of your mind every time you think about taking a risk. And while people like to blame failure for crushing their dreams, the truth is failure has never been the real problem. The problem is fear, the fear of what might happen, the fear of being judged, the fear of not being enough. Fear doesn't strike you down in one dramatic blow. It works slowly, quietly, planting seeds of doubt that grow until they wrap themselves around every decision you make. You start hesitating. You second guess yourself. You talk yourself out of opportunities before you even try. You call it being practical or realistic. But deep down, you know what it really is? Self-sabotage. The cruel irony is that the thing you're afraid of, failure, is the very thing that would set you free if you embraced it. Failure is not the enemy. Failure is the teacher. Every time you fall short, you learn, you adapt. You get sharper, stronger, better. Every success story you've ever admired was built on a foundation of failed attempts. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is not that one group never failed. It's that they refuse to let fear stop them from trying again. But fear disguises itself well. It tells you it's protecting you, keeping you safe from embarrassment, from disappointment, from pain. It convinces you that staying in your comfort zone is the smart choice. What it doesn't tell you is that the comfort zone is a slow death. You're not avoiding failure. You're avoiding life. Think about it. How many times have you wanted to try something new but stopped yourself because you thought, what if I'm not good enough? What if I mess up? What will people think? How many times have you let the possibility of failure outweigh the possibility of success? How many chances have you passed up because you decided, without even trying, that you wouldn't make it? And here's the thing. You've survived every failure you've ever faced. You've been through moments you thought would break you, and yet you're still here. That means you're capable of handling the fall. The real danger isn't falling, it's never climbing in the first place. Fear loves to make the what if sound like a threat. What if it doesn't work? What if you waste your time? What if you lose? But you have to flip that question. What if it does work? What if you don't waste your time, but instead discover your purpose? What if you win? What if this one risk is the turning point that changes everything? Most people never get to find out. They choose safety, and in doing so, they choose regret. Years later, they look back and wonder what might have happened if they'd been brave enough to try. That's the real failure, living a life full of what ifs. The fear of failure is the invisible wall that stops you before you even start. But here's the truth that destroys it. The only way to fail in life is to quit trying. As long as you keep moving forward, no matter how many times you stumble, you are not failing. You are growing. You are building the skill, the resilience, and the mindset required to succeed. Yes, you will fall. Yes, you will make mistakes. Yes, there will be moments when you feel like you're losing. But every single one of those moments will prepare you for the day you win. And when that day comes, you'll look back and realize that the failures weren't the enemy. They were the path. So the question is this: will you let fear dictate the rest of your life? Will you keep hiding from failure knowing that you're really just hiding from your own potential? Or will you face it head on, accept that it's part of the process, and take the first step toward the life you want? Because here's the reality. Fear will always be there. You can't eliminate it. You can't wait for it to disappear. You can only decide to act in spite of it. That's what separates the 1% who take control of their lives from the 99% who never do. The ones who make it aren't the ones without fear. They're the ones who feel it and move anyway. The moment you stop letting fear of failure make your decisions, the moment your life starts to change, not a year from now. Not when it's safer. Not when you feel ready. Now, one of the most subtle, most dangerous habits that keeps people from ever taking control of their lives is this: they wait. They wait for approval. They wait for validation. They wait for someone else to say, now you're ready. Now you can begin. And in that waiting, their life passes them by. It starts early. You grow up being told when to speak, when to sit, when to move, what to believe. You get conditioned to look outside yourself for the green light. Teachers, parents, bosses, society, they all train you to seek permission before taking action. At first, it's just part of learning. But somewhere along the way, it becomes a prison. You stop making bold decisions unless someone else stamps them as acceptable. Think about it. How many times have you had an idea, something you knew could change your life, but you hesitated because you wanted someone else to tell you it was a good idea? How many times have you looked for reassurance before you took a step forward, as if someone else had more authority over your life than you do? And here's the brutal truth. No one is coming to hand you your future. No one is going to appear and say, now is the perfect time. You have my approval. You can go after your dream. Life doesn't work like that. If you wait for someone else to give you permission, you'll be waiting forever. This mindset is one of the biggest killers of ambition. You keep thinking there's some magical moment when the stars will align, when you'll feel fully ready, fully equipped, and fully supported. But that moment is a myth. Readiness doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. Every person who has ever achieved something extraordinary didn't start with a sign from the universe. They didn't wait for a committee to gather and declare them worthy. They simply decided. They said, this is mine, I'm taking it. And that decision to give themselves permission was the turning point. When you wait for someone else to validate your path, you're sending a dangerous message to yourself. I can't trust my own judgment. I can't take control of my own life without someone else telling me it's okay. That belief doesn't just slow you down. It erodes your confidence. Every time you defer to someone else's opinion over your own, you're reinforcing the idea that you're not capable of steering your own ship. But here's what most people never realize: the authority you're waiting for has always been yours. From the moment you were born, you've had the right to choose to act, to shape your own future. No one can take that from you, but you can give it away. And that's what happens when you wait for permission. You hand over the steering wheel of your life and let someone else decide where you're going. And the people you're waiting on, they're too busy steering their own lives to map out yours. Even if they care about you, they can't give you the life you want. They don't know your full potential. They don't know the fire inside you. Only you know that. The most dangerous thing about waiting for permission is that it feels harmless in the moment. You tell yourself, I'll just wait until I'm sure. I'll wait until I have more experience. I'll wait until they say yes. But while you're waiting, time is moving. Opportunities are disappearing. Momentum is fading. You're convincing yourself you're being patient when really you're just standing still. You don't need anyone's approval to start the business, write the book, change careers, get in shape, speak up, or chase the life you want. You never have. The only permission slip you'll ever truly need is the one you write for yourself. But writing it requires courage. It means you stop hiding behind other people's opinions and start owning your choices completely. It means you're willing to face criticism, doubt, and misunderstanding. It means you understand that not everyone will support you, and that's okay. The truth is, the people who make history aren't the ones who waited for the nod of approval. They're the ones who acted without it. They trusted themselves enough to move forward even when others didn't believe in them. They knew that the cost of waiting was too high. So ask yourself, how much longer are you going to wait? How many more dreams will you put on hold because you're hoping someone else will tell you it's your time? How many years will you waste before you realize you were the one holding the key all along? You don't need permission to live the life you want. You never did. The door is open. The choice is yours. And the only thing standing between you and the life you've imagined is the decision to walk through it without waiting for anyone to say you can. The past can be a teacher, but for most people, it becomes a prison. Not because the events themselves are still happening, but because they keep replaying them over and over, like a movie stuck on a loop. Every mistake, every regret, every painful moment, they carry it with them into every decision, every relationship, every opportunity. It's like trying to run a race with a 100-pound weight strapped to your back. You can't move forward at full speed because you're too busy dragging what's already gone. People tell themselves they've moved on, but the truth is they've just learned how to function while still chained to it. They talk about their dreams, but deep down, they don't believe they deserve them. Why? Because they're still defining themselves by who they were instead of who they could be. Maybe it was a failure that shattered your confidence. Maybe it was a betrayal that made you stop trusting. Maybe it was a decision you made years ago that you wish you could take back. Whatever it was, it left a mark, and now you see yourself through the lens of that moment. The danger is that the past doesn't just live in your memory, it starts shaping your identity. You start telling yourself stories like, I'm the kind of person who always messes things up. I'm the one who always gets hurt. I'm not cut out for success. I'm unlucky. I'm not good enough. And the more you repeat those stories, the more they become your reality. But here's the truth. Your past is not your identity. It is not your destiny. It is nothing more than a collection of moments that are gone, moments that have no power unless you keep giving them power. Think about it. If you were driving a car and you spent all your time staring in the rearview mirror, what would happen? You'd crash. Not because the road behind you is dangerous, but because you weren't paying attention to where you were going. That's what living in the past does. It robs you of the present and blinds you to the future. You can't change what's already happened. You can't rewrite those chapters, but you can decide what comes next. You can decide that those moments will not define you. They will refine you. You can take the lessons, take the strength, take the resilience, and leave the pain behind. And yes, it's hard. Letting go doesn't mean pretending it didn't happen. It means refusing to let it control you any longer. It means understanding that the past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. You visit it to learn, but you don't live there. Some people hold on to the past because it's familiar. Even if it hurts, it's something they know. The future is unknown, and unknown feels risky. But that's the price of growth. You have to let go of what's behind you to reach for what's ahead. You can't climb if both hands are holding on to old pain. And here's the reality most people don't want to face. If you don't release the weight of the past, you will recreate it. You will repeat the same mistakes, attract the same situations, and live the same patterns. Not because you're cursed, but because you're still making decisions from an old version of yourself. It's like trying to run the latest software on outdated hardware. It's slow, it crashes, it can't handle the new possibilities. You have to upgrade. You have to decide that who you were is not who you are anymore. So ask yourself, what are you still carrying that you don't need anymore? Whose voice are you still hearing in your head that doesn't belong in your future? What mistakes are you still punishing yourself for even though they're long gone? You have the power to put it down. You have the power to rewrite the story. The past doesn't have to be the chain that drags you under. It can be the foundation you build on, but only if you choose to stop living there. You are not your failures. You are not your heartbreaks. You are not your bad decisions. You are the person who survived them. And if you survive them, you can use them. You can turn them into fuel. You can let them make you wiser, sharper, stronger. The past will always be there, but it doesn't have to own you. The moment you stop carrying its weight is the moment you start moving freely toward the life you were meant to live. And when you finally do, you'll wonder why you didn't let go sooner. Comfort feels good, at least at first. It's warm, familiar, easy. It tells you stay here. You've earned it. You're safe. And that's exactly why it's so dangerous. Comfort doesn't kill you quickly. It kills you slowly. It lulls you into a life where nothing changes, where your dreams fade quietly into the background while you tell yourself you're fine. But fine isn't living. Fine is what you settle for when you've given up on great. The truth is, comfort is one of the most seductive traps you'll ever face. It disguises itself as rest, as stability, as security. But stay there too long and it becomes stagnation. It drains your hunger. It makes you soft. It convinces you to stop pushing yourself because things aren't that bad. But not that bad is the death zone. It's where ambition goes to rot. Here's the cruel reality: growth never happens in comfort. Every breakthrough, every transformation, every victory you've ever had came when you stepped into discomfort, when you faced something new, challenging, and uncertain. Yet most people spend their lives trying to avoid exactly that. They run from discomfort, and in doing so, they run from the very thing that would set them free. Behind comfort, there's another silent killer: a lack of discipline. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not exciting. It's not the rush of starting something new. It's the grind of showing up every single day, whether you feel like it or not. And that's why most people don't have it. They wait for motivation, not realizing that motivation is fleeting. Discipline is what carries you when motivation disappears. Without discipline, dreams stay dreams. Without discipline, you keep promising yourself you'll start tomorrow. You tell yourself you'll get serious when life calms down, when you have more time, when you feel ready. But that day never comes. Life will always be busy. You will never magically have more time. And waiting to feel ready is just another form of procrastination. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's the force that turns intention into action and action into results. It's doing the work when it's boring. It's keeping the promises you make to yourself, even when no one's watching. It's holding yourself accountable because you know no one else is coming to do it for you. Think about the people you admire, the ones who built the lives you wish you had. Do you think they got there by doing what was comfortable? By only working when they felt inspired? No. They built habits that worked even when they didn't feel like it. They embraced the grind. They understood that discipline is freedom, because when you control your actions, you control your outcomes. The hard truth is comfort and a lack of discipline feed each other. The more comfortable you get, the less disciplined you become. The less disciplined you are, the more you crave comfort. It's a vicious cycle that keeps you exactly where you are, dreaming about change but never experiencing it. Breaking free from this cycle requires brutal honesty. You have to ask yourself, am I staying here because it's truly where I want to be? Or because it's easy? Am I avoiding the work because I don't know what to do? Or because I don't want to face how hard it's going to be? You have to be willing to get uncomfortable on purpose. You have to seek out challenges instead of avoiding them. You have to commit to discipline even when it feels like nothing is happening. Because the truth is, most of your progress will be invisible at first. You won't see the payoff until one day it's undeniable. But here's the reward: when you choose discomfort, you grow. When you build discipline, you gain control. You no longer live at the mercy of your moods, your fears, or your excuses. You stop being a prisoner of your own comfort zone and start becoming the kind of person who can handle whatever life throws at you. And the best part, discipline compounds. The more you practice it, the stronger it gets. The stronger it gets, the more you achieve. And the more you achieve, the more you realize you were capable of all along. So the question becomes, are you willing to trade short-term comfort for long-term freedom? Are you willing to stop waiting for motivation and start creating results through discipline? Because if you are, everything changes. But if you're not, if you choose comfort over growth and excuses over discipline, then nothing will change. Not next week, not next year, not in 10 years. You'll be exactly where you are now, only older and with less time to do anything about it. You have a choice: comfort or growth. Excuses or discipline, one will slowly drain your life away. The other will give it back to you. And only you can decide which one you're going to live by. This is it. The moment you either step forward or step back. The moment you decide whether you're going to keep drifting through life on autopilot or take the wheel and drive yourself towards something greater. And understand this: there is no later. There is no perfect day waiting on the calendar for you to finally take control. There's now or there's never. You've seen it in yourself. You know the patterns. You've let fear dictate too many decisions. You've waited for permission that never came. You've dragged the weight of the past like a shadow you couldn't shake. You've hidden in comfort and let discipline slip through your fingers. And if you're honest, you know exactly what that's cost you. Time you can't get back, opportunities you'll never see again, and a version of yourself that's been buried under excuses. But here's the truth you need to face. You can't change the past, but you can change everything that comes next. You can decide right now that the person you've been is not the person you have to remain. You can draw the line and say, no more. I'm done waiting. I'm done holding back. I'm done living small, because life isn't going to slow down for you to catch up. Every second you hesitate, the gap between who you are and who you could be gets wider. Every day you delay is another day you give away. And here's the part no one wants to admit: no one is coming to save you. No mentor, no partner, no sudden miracle is going to do the work for you. This is on you. That's not a curse. It's a gift. Because if no one else is responsible for your life, then no one else can limit it. You are the driver. You are the architect. Every choice you make from this moment on is another brick in the foundation of your future. And if you don't like the way your life looks right now, you have the power to rebuild it starting today. Yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's going to demand more from you than you've ever given before. But you already know what the alternative feels like. You've lived it. You know what it's like to settle. You know what it's like to wonder what could have been. That's not a life. It's survival. And you weren't built just to survive. You were built to rise. So what does taking control look like? It looks like making the decision to face fear head on instead of running from it. It looks like giving yourself permission instead of waiting for it. It looks like cutting the chains of your past and stepping forward even when it scares you. It looks like choosing growth over comfort, discipline over excuses, and action over hesitation. It looks like truly deciding that you are done watching from the sidelines while other people live the life you want. It looks like being relentless, consistent, and unapologetically committed to building the future you see in your mind. And here's the thing, once you take that first step, everything changes. The moment you act, the moment you stop overthinking and start moving, momentum begins to build. You start to see possibilities where you once saw obstacles. You start to realize that the limits you thought were holding you back were never real. They were just fears you hadn't challenged yet. But none of that will happen if you keep waiting. Waiting will steal your life in pieces so slowly you won't even notice until it's gone. That's why you can't put this off another day. You can't tell yourself next week or after things calm down or when the timing is right. The timing will never be right. You make it right by acting now. So here's the challenge before this day ends. Do something that moves you toward the life you want. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready now. Take one step, send the message, make the call, start the project, have the conversation, sign up, commit. It doesn't matter how small the step is. What matters is that you take it. Because the moment you act, you send a signal to yourself and to the world, I'm taking control. I'm not waiting anymore. This is my life and I'm claiming it. And once you've taken that first step, you take the next and the next. And you keep going until the life you're living is the one you once thought was impossible. This is your turning point. Not because I say so, not because anyone else says so, but because you decide it is. And the only thing left to ask yourself is this: when the day comes that your life flashes before your eyes, will you be proud of what you see,